All right, and welcome back to round 3 here at GameSwap Mason, Ohio.
All right, I like the Arizona can right by Doug. Oh, there we go.
Shameless promotions here
Yeah,
at GameSwap Mason.
Yeah, speaking of shameless promotions, if you like what we're doing here, you can subscribe to us, follow us, like what we're doing. You can always go to our YouTube page, subscribe there, watch past games.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to go back and watch yourself or watch someone else, make fun of them. I quite thoroughly enjoy that.
Yeah, I get shamed on a lot on YouTube.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
I really do.
So, right now we've got, you know, the most skill-intensive mirror in Standard.
No, it's just because okay, it shamed me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this mirrors whoever top decks better.
No, I mean, it's actually kind of a resource game. Whoever uses their resources better
All right.
tends to win. Yes, it can come down the post-board games to who draws more tireless trackers, who draws more Chandras, things of that nature.
All right.
It's really who 2-for-1s. A game 1, sometimes it's just decided by who has the removal for turn 2 Long Tusk Cub.
All right.
Because sometimes the Long Tusk Cubs can just grow out of control.
I believe that.
And it looks like Jake right here is going to attune for Aether, and I didn't see a blue source in his hand, so he may just be grabbing his island.
Oh, so this is the one time you grab an island.
So you do sometimes grab an island.
I didn't know.
And I think he actually had another red source in his hand, too, so he'd be able to play his Glory Bringer.
Yeah, so Kojo57 giving us a shout-out to Ohio Magic Scene. Cool. Thank you. The Magic Scene in Ohio is like...
I like to call it the hubbub of Magic.
The hubbub?
Yeah, there's always a ton of events going around within 4-hour drives of Ohio, just like the Midwest in general, as opposed to the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not on the West Coast and want to play
Magic. Channel
Magic.
Fireball, but
yeah,
I'm sure if you live up in Southern California or anything like that, it's hard to get to.
Oh yeah.
So Jake getting in here with his Long Tusk Cub, and obviously Doug declining to block with his mana ramp.
All right, let's see what happens here.
Jake, unless he wants to spend his own Harness Lightning here and pump it up, which he doesn't have one currently, he's just going to allow this to die. You have to pay 2 energy for every 1 energy they want to spend to kill it.
And so like, it's not equal.
No. And usually, I mean, the Harness Lightning is generally going to win, unless your Long Tusk Cup has pumped itself out of range.
Yeah.
So in here, he's going to play his Bristling Hydra.
Yep.
All right. And Bristling Hydra is another one of those cards that, if your opponent is playing, if he's played out multiple Whirler Virtuosos or things of that nature,
it just get blocks.
It's just going to get chump blocked multiple times unless you have a Ronus or something to push through damage. It's actually not a great card in the mirror sometimes, and sometimes it is. It's weird. The mirrors tend to come down to, like I said, resource management. And here you see Doug.
Basically, Doug having 2-for-1 himself here.
Yeah, and actually Jake paid his energy to do that. So Jake, I believe, should be down to 2 energy.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's just like it just feels like it's an energy battle. Whoever can like, thank you, Stream Runner. But yeah, I can totally see what you see now because Jake has way more cards in hand than Doug, it seems right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And here he's going to play another one of those payoff cards that is really good in the mirror. Doug does have a Rogue Refiner in his hand, which is it's okay in the mirror. It produces 2 energy, which is actually the most important thing it does. It produces 2 energy and draws you a card. It replaces itself.
Yeah, and that's
But other than that, it's not fantastic. And here, if I'm Doug, I kind of want to wait to play my land, just to see if I draw something, come into play tapped land as opposed to, something like that.
All right,
but
so,
he does have a Ronus, which is fantastic in the mirror.
Especially with all the Thofter tokens, like he just deal with them.
One of the best cards in the mirror. In fact, in the post-board games, when you are playing the mirror, you'll bring in your Confiscation Coup for the Ronus, or Glory Bringer, something like that.
All right.
But Jake is gonna untap here and play his Glory Bringer.
Yeah, seems like a good play here.
And I believe he's just going to
exert, kill.
I would swing both of these right now. Exert, kill the Rogue Refiner. Doug is going to decline to chump block the Whirler Virtuoso.
All right, and why would What advantage does Jake have not swinging the Verso here?
I guess the advantage is he can trade it with the servant that Doug is inevitably going to pump.
All right.
But if Doug were to untap and just play a Glory Bringer himself, it would be a much worse play.
Yep. Oh yeah, I can totally see that. So how do you feel about the Lumbering Falls? Lumbering Falls and Temur
Lumbering
Energy.
Falls is like really good with Ronus. Like, again, one of those threats that you can, you know, animate and pump up. Your opponent's not able to respond or do anything about it, and then they're, you know, they have to sit there and take this hit from the Ronus.
Yeah, because I don't see that card a lot, like, consistent in a lot of Temur Energy lists.
What was it now?
Lumbering Falls. I don't see that. It's like one of the cards that's not consistent across Temur Energy lists.
Yeah, I feel like it is. Even in the 4-color versions, it's been an inclusion as a one-of.
Really now?
Yep.
I may have missed that.
Yeah, it's usually a one-of in all the lists. And like I said, now you're gonna see him getting in.
Yeah.
And so Jake's going to take 6 here.
All right.
He's going to trade his Servant for the Whirler Virtuoso. And Jake is not actually going to produce a token to chump block the Ronus, even though it does not have Trample.
Maybe he's just like hoping to like draw another energy payoff. Like
well, he does have another Whirler Virtuoso in his hand, and now he has a Long Tusk Cub, and he has a kind of a dead removal spell.
Dead removal spell of
and a Braid, I believe.
Yeah, I mean it can take care of the Whirler Virtuoso that Doug has, which.
Yeah, it's fine. But the way he's going to win this game is he's going to win with his Glorybringer.
All right.
Exerting and killing off Doug's threats one by one.
You know what card would be live for both of these players right now? But I'm pretty sure neither is playing.
Chandra main deck?
No, Scarab God.
I was about to say, Jake is playing that main deck. No, you're right. None of them are playing the Black Splash in their decks.
How good do you think the Black Splash is?
I mean, it's for this match.
Basically the mirror?
Basically the mirror. It literally just ends the game in the mirror.
Yeah, because basically, since a lot of these payoff cards have the enter the battlefield gain energy, like you just gain 3 energy along with getting a 4/4 body.
Well, it's not just that. It's they tend to trade resources back and forth until they are both top decking.
Yeah.
And Scarab God is the card that, you know, the game winds down. Each player has multiple lands in play. The boards are usually stalled out, and it is a card that produces, you know, multiple threats from each other's from the resources that you've each traded.
Yeah.
So
Jake responded to the pump here by killing the Virtuoso with a Braid, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
And seems good.
Yeah. If I'm Doug, I'm pumping and I'm getting in with just the Ronus here because I want to be able to animate my Lumbering Falls, and it looks as if he has a
Elder Deep Fiend?
Elder Deep Fiend in his hand.
Yeah, so I know Elder Deep Fiend is not. I know that card for sure is not common in Temur Energy's list.
No, but there was a list actually recently at a GP that top 8 that had 2 Elder Deep Fiends in it.
Really now?
Mm-hmm. So I think that's the list that Doug is playing. And Jake playing a version with Chandra main deck, so
like this, the Temur Energy deck seems like it has a lot of room for like personalization.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Between the number of Magma Sprays and things like the decks always will play 2 to 3 Glorybringers.
Yep.
They'll always play 3 to 4 Whirler Virtuosos. The mana base, unless you're playing the 4-color Splash, those mana bases tend to play 23 lands as opposed to 22.
Just because like you need the extra land just to consistently hit the
you
fourth color.
Yeah, you.
Not really that, but
imagine your swamp as a spell, really, in that matchup. Kind of. I know it's a little weird to say that.
Oh no, I totally get that because like especially like with man lands and all that.
Yeah, you generally, like I said, you have mana sinks in these types of decks between your man land and between like stuff like Ronus and things of that nature. You always have things to do.
All right.
But the deck does have a tendency to flat out because you are playing cards that do replace themselves, such as Rogue Refiner.
Attune.
And Attune is, you basically count that as a land. So imagine the deck is playing 26 mana sources.
All right.
So it does have a tendency to flat out. You are playing Shelter Thicket, so you can cycle those. You have Lumbering Falls as a mana sink. But like I said, you're trading resources back and forth, and eventually the game does stall out.
And Scarab God just like top deck it, you win pretty much.
Yeah, unless you're like stuck on lands and you're really far behind on the board, that'd be the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, and by top decking I mean like both. I assume both players are top decking with a.
Yeah,
board
absolutely.
asymmetry, like symmetrical.
And you're seeing a game here right now where Jake is just going to continue to fly over and do damage with those, and he's not going to swing with his ground creatures because Doug can animate his Lumbering Falls and then pump it, being able to block with his Ronus.
Yeah, it seems like he's one land short from doing that, based on saying Lumbering Fall is 4 mana.
Well, no, he can animate it and then tap itself to pump itself.
Oh, and then it's to swing the Ronos. Okay.
Yeah, and he can just block with a Ronus and block the Long Tusk Cub or anything like that.
All right, I like that play.
But he's drawn a land here. Jake is still on the offensive. If I'm Jake, I'm just going to make 2 tokens right here. So I'm going to make 2 tokens.
Basically make a 2-turn clock in the air?
No, I think he's dead. Doug is just dead here. With the 6 damage in the air, and he's not able to animate and maintain 2 blockers, he can just swing out, and Doug is forced to block one of the 2/2s and then just die. And then the 10 damage he takes in.
Yeah, especially since like Long Tusk Cub is going to be 3 probably.
No, but he can.
He's dead though.
He's gonna block that. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, he's taking 6 in the air here. He's blocking a 2/2, and then he's taking 10.
Yeah, I think Jason's doing quick math.
And Jake will see that line too.
He should.
And this is another issue you see. Doug drew 2 more lands than Jake drew.
Yep, and
those inevitably were spells that Jake, played.
Attune, get a land for turn. Don't want to draw another land in case he doesn't.
And actually, you're seeing where Doug double abraded that Bristling Hydra earlier in the game. And if he would have saved those for Whirler Virtuosos, it would have been a lot different game.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
Because that Bristling Hydra's not going to get through that Ronus.
Oh, definitely not. So, what kind of cards would be coming in from the side here?
Okay, so generally it's play draw dependent.
Yep.
With Doug on the play, he'll leave in some number of Long Tusk Cubs, and he'll bring in his Chandras, whether it be 4 drops, 6 drop one, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad because it does sweep away your board as well.
All right.
Really?
So not a lot of sweepers coming in.
No, you're not going to bring in your sweepers. You're going to bring in your Confiscation Coups. You're going to bring in your 4-mana Chandras. You're going to bring in, if you have an extra braid, you'll bring that in. The Magma Sprays are, generally I'll leave in 1 on the draw. They're actually not very good, but you leave the 1 in on the draw so that you're able to Magma Spray their Servant because you don't want them to get ahead on mana.
All right. Yeah, I noticed when I was playing my silly blue-red control deck, I always took some number of Magma Sprays out against the Temur Marvel deck, especially since I only got to play Temur Judy once during the Open I played in. I took some number in because, well, mainly they're dead, but just the early threats and the trackers that were coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it does answer Rogue Refiner. It does answer Servant of the Conduit. It can answer a Tireless Tracker, which are coming in as well.
Yep.
Those are just auto inclusions in these sideboarded games. You need threats, but you also need to, like I said, you're trading resources here. And Tireless Tracker is the perfect answer to this type of matchup where if you're trading resources back and forth and you're hitting your land drops and you don't want to flood out, Tireless Tracker is the perfect answer for that.
Yep. So would there ever be any reason to play a Tireless Tracker main deck?
No, I mean you have before, especially with if blue-black control is if it's a metagame choice where you're there are blue-black control decks everywhere. They're not bad against zombies, although some people think that they are. They're a little bit better post-board because zombies tend to side out their aggressive plans because their aggressive plans are a lot worse, and they're trying to go bigger with their Liliana's Masteries and things of that nature.
All right. What about a card like Champion of Wits?
Champion of Wits, you're not going to sideboard that. You're going to play it main. I know Jason's a big advocate for Champion of Wits. I have not been a huge fan of it just because I would rather play a Rogue Refiner or things of that nature, and I would rather have a late game with Sky Sovereign, things of that nature. So we actually haven't seen a Sky Sovereign cast here yet. And usually those are an inclusion of 2 of.
Yeah, I remember I saw one in your deck when I played it.
Yeah, and that is also really good in the mirror.
Yeah, because like pretty much only like Braid really answers it.
Yeah, I mean they can harness lightning it as well, but it's
like that's
not,
a lot of energy.
It's one of those cards that can come down late game after you guys have traded resources back and forth. It kills a creature, and then it's a really hard to answer threat.
Totally. I mean, it just feels like you'd be spending a lot of energy just to answer that Sky Sovereign.
Yeah, but besides that, the post-board games, like I said, they generally have an extra Braid in their board, so they're not as good as they are game one, if that makes sense.
I think I understand you.
Now, with Jake being on the draw, his some number of Long Tusk Cubs will come out.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he will leave in probably a Magma Spray or two to be able to answer the servants. Or if Doug doesn't have, a turn 1 attune and he does play a turn 2 with Long Tusk Cub, things of that nature.
Yeah. So why does Long Tusk Cub typically come out in the Temur Energy?
It will come out when you're on the draw because you want to be able to answer their turn 2 threat, and you're not able to play it on turn 2. So it's like a tempo play.
All right.
They're not great late game. You typically spent your energy on things like Whirler Virtuoso, Hydra, and like we said earlier, it's a game where you're going to build up energy. Harness Lightning deals with that easily. It's one of those threats that if you guys are kind of mirrored in your energy reserves, they're spending 1 energy as to where you're spending 2 to keep that alive.
Oh yeah.
So it's not an actual great threat as to where, like Glorybringer, Chandra, things of that nature are actual threats.
Yeah, I do like Glorybringer because like it's not energy dependent.
No, it's not, and it comes down. It's a removal spell on a creature.
Yeah.
It's hasty. It has evasion, and generally you'll see in the mirror if they don't have a Harness Lightning, they're making a token with Whirler Virtuoso and they're just chumping it.
And yeah, that's I mean that's reasonable.
Yeah. So. And this is one of the harder mirrors. Because if you make a misstep with how you're, like we saw earlier with Doug, you make a small minor misstep with your
spells.
Yeah, with like your resources.
Yeah.
It comes back to bite you. As to where he had Ronus in his hand, if he just played that Ronus, he
might have.
I mean, he's not. That blocks the Bristling Hydra, and the Bristling Hydra is much worse. Now in these post-board games, a Ronus is so-so because it can be taken with Confiscation Coup. And looks like Jake is getting his exert tokens out.
All right. I don't know what. I mean, he's just going to lose them in like 5 minutes probably.
Yeah. Jake is what we like to call an aggressive shuffler.
Yeah, we know a few of those around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tend to be one too, Robert.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Just don't look at my Snapcaster Mages or Gloice or anything.
Or any of the cards you own.
I mean, you currently have, like, how many of my cards right now?
I know which cards are yours because they're the ones that are warped.
Yeah. And they're not that bad.
No, but if you set them down, they tend to curl up.
It's not that bad. But, yeah, I can be nicer. I should be nicer.
So, and if you are in the Cincinnati area, don't forget that here in a couple weekends, we are having the pre-release here at GameSwap Mason.
Really now?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there was an Iron Man challenge that I believe if you play in all the events, they're $130.
All right.
But you do play in all the events, and
you get qualified for like a tournament or something?
Yeah, absolutely. You're qualified for an Iron Man challenge tournament.
I never participated.
I mean, I value my sleep greatly, so.
Yeah. Also, like it's additional prize pool.
Yeah.
And basically, they try to make it worth your while to participate in all 5.
Pre-release events.
Yeah, pre-releases. Especially since midnight in like noon, right? It's like a midnight event, then the next event is like noon Saturday, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that to myself for Magic. Yeah, it's like midnight, noon, 6 p.m.
Noon the next day, and then 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Yep. Also, I know the 6 p.m. on Saturday is a 2-headed giant.
Okay.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
2-headed giant is a format. Basically, I just want someone who would be okay if I just got drunk with them while playing 2-headed giant. All right, so Doug taking a mole here. This does not seem like a kind of matchup you want to be down on cards on.
No, it's not, but like I said, you're playing such a low land count that you do have to aggressively mulligan with it.
Yep.
That's just kind of the nature of the beast with this deck. And I think Jake is keeping a 1-land attune here.
And he has a game trail?
Yeah, and the land does come into play tapped. So it is one of those situations where he will be behind a turn because he plays his land tapped and then he attunes.
I mean, knowing Jake, though, he just want to draw like a Botanical Satanim right here. And like his hands just want to look great.
Yeah, I mean, that is his best draw here.
Or like he could draw Forest or Mountain.
Any of those are fantastic.
Yeah. Basically, have Game Trail come on tap, tune, island, boom.
Yeah.
Or even Shelter Thicket. Wow, he has a lot of great draws.
Yeah. But he does have the premier start of Attune into Servant if he does draw land.
Oh, yeah. All right, so Attune, Aether Hub Attune.
He does have Attune. He has Bristling Hydra. He has a Rogue Refiner. 2 Rogue Refiners, and then he has an Aether Hub, and then a Spire Bluff Canal.
I like this hand.
I do too. This is a very good hand.
Yeah.
So he's just going to grab a Forest here, and then pass the turn.
Yep, seems smart. Ooh.
And Jake drew a Harness Lightning for his turn.
All right, so Doug might be in this game. Well, he is.
I mean, he's absolutely in this game. In fact, he's probably going to be ahead. Just because Jake's lands... The problem with Jake's hand is Jake has to draw lands, and he doesn't really he has a Servant of the Conduit, but he's not going to be doing anything.
Yeah, like he won't be able to cast it.
He still has to draw lands. Where Duck has 3 lands, he has Rogue Refiners, he has cards that replace themselves, and then he has a payoff card in his Bristling Hydra, and he just drew a Glorybringer.
Yeah, like a big thing about the mid-range mirror is like you have to hit your land drops.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jake drawing his Chandra here.
But granted, Jake's hand, if like Doug doesn't do anything and like,
well, we know Doug's going to do something. He's going to play that Rogue Refiner. He's going to play Rogue Refiner into Rogue Refiner or Bristling Hydra. So
assume he draws land 4.
Yeah.
But okay, Lumber Falls land. Oh, I mean that's awkward, but it's fine.
No, that's perfectly fine. You're going to play your Rogue Refiners. Jake's not really going to do much. Jake's either going to spend his turn killing that Rogue Refiner, or he's going to try to advance his board state with Servant of the Conduit.
I like advancing the board state with Servant.
I do too.
Gives him the best chance to actually catch back up.
Yeah, I don't think think Harness Lightning is where you want to be right now.
I mean,
but that's the risk you take with these types of decks that aren't playing a ton of lands. And he's going to play another Rogue Refiner, and he's going to play that Lumbering Falls.
And is that a negate?
Does look like a negate. Negate's fine if you're expecting your opponent to, like I said, bring Confiscation Coup and things of that nature. There's a Sky Sovereign.
Oh, Jake's hand's on fire.
It is on fire. He's about to throw it away because they're about to go to Game 3 because he's missing all these land drops. And Doug is about to play a Bristling Hydra.
All right. Yeah, he is. One thing... Yeah.
No blocks there.
Are you sure you don't want to? Are you sure you don't want to trade Jake?
All right, and Doug's gonna play this Bristling Hydra, and then if he draws that 5th land and playing that Glorybringer,
whew,
we are going to Game 3.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Jake drew an Attune with Aether.
It's a land, right?
Oh yeah, it's a land, all right. Looks like he has an Abrade in his hand, but he's just gonna start taking huge hits from that Bristling Hydra.
Yeah, Jake seems very far behind right now.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the issue with keeping a hand like that.
Yeah, it was like one of those like very high risk, high reward things, but like the loss of him to not draw a land is like yeah, he can do that. I had to make sure.
Yeah, Rogue Refiner's fine.
I mean, like, see if you could actually cast it.
Yeah.
So, alright. Okay, second Hydra seems good, though.
Yeah. Like I said, you just want to get in there with your Doug, play another Hydra, really put Jake behind. Jake's removal spells are blanked right now. And then if you play, like, he has to advance his board state to catch back up, and then you're going to play a Glorybringer eventually, and then Jake's gonna fall behind.
Yeah.
And probably die.
Yeah. It doesn't seem that good here for the Valentine here.
No. And if I'm him, I'm probably trading Rogue Refiners here, and I guess my hope is to try to play a Whirler Virtuoso and try to stall out the board. His best draw here is obviously land, play Whirler Virtuoso, and then play a Servant of the Conduit.
All right, I like that. I like that plan.
Yeah, but like I said, Doug here is just going to play a Bristling Hydra and advance his board state.
All right, so what can get Jake back in the game?
If he's boarded an Hour of Devastation?
How common is that?
Not even a little bit.
I like the honesty there.
Doug going with a little bit... I know he wants to hit that 5th land drop, but just advancing your board position with these Hydras and putting Jake even further behind is really where you want to be right now.
Basically, like, you're just really putting the foot on Jake.
Yeah, you're just... like I said, you're just putting him behind. His removal spells are blanked. He doesn't have good trades.
He
doesn't
drew
have
the 5th land being Shelter Thicket.
And that's fine. He has the other Bristling Hydra. He has negates.
Yep.
I mean, there is a world, I guess, where if he feels like Jake brought in some number of board wipes or something like that, if he did bring in something like,
maybe like a Bantu's Last Reckoning,
no.
Probably not. Hey, man.
But I mean, you're just gonna get in here.
All right, let's see what you do here, Jake.
Even if Jake wants to, produce a couple Thopter tokens and, quadruple block that Hydra, you're just going to allow that to happen, and you're going to play another Hydra.
Yeah. I mean, that just seems like so risky saying, like, since Doug has so much mana open, he can just, like, removal spell one and get blown out.
Yeah. And Jake does have a high payoff card with that Sky Sovereign in hand.
It doesn't look like he's going to do much on this board, though. I could be wrong.
No, it's not, and that is the issue with it. The only thing that I could see it doing is if Jake plays that, and he can hold it back to block a Glorybringer, and Doug is not inclined to attack with a Glorybringer because of it.
All right.
So Jake going through his options here, deciding if he wants to, produce any tokens and block.
I kind of like just making a token and chumping. I don't know how right that is, but I like that.
I like that a lot better than trying to, triple block and quadruple block.
And it's like being able to get blown out by a removal spell.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're losing your Servant of the Conduit as well.
All right.
And Jake is going to make 3 Thopters right here.
I really want to see how this is going to go.
I think his plan is to try to triple block here, or quadruple block. Or maybe he just wants to single block. I don't know.
Maybe a pentablock.
Could be.
It's like a pentagram.
But it's not going to work out well for him because Doug has another Hydra in his hand.
Yeah. Oh, he's doing it. Okay.
All right. So he's going to single block the Hydra, and he's going to block the Whirl of Virtuoso on the Rogue Refiner, trying to clear away a little bit of Doug's threat.
I like that.
Density. That's fine.
Yeah, and Doug not having a removal spell. Oh, yeah, 3-2.
I mean, even if he did have a removal spell, he's just going to progress his board with Servant of the Conduit. And the reason he wants to do that is if he draws
can hold up the gate right now.
Well, that, and if he draws an untapped land, he can play that Glorybringer and have negate up for it.
Yeah.
Or he can negate this Chandra.
Yeah, I really like Doug's playing the Conduit right here, just to be able to hold him the gate for anything.
They're not going to get any better.
Yeah.
So basically, Jake has no removal spell right now that he can hold up. If I'm Doug, I'm playing that Glorybringer. I'm killing the Servant of the Conduit, and I'm getting in there.
Yeah, no, I really did like Doug being patient on the second Hydra there, because basically Jake that turn Jake just had, it was the most opportune moment he could have to come back in this game.
So when Jake made his 3 Thopter tokens, that signified to Doug when he single blocked that Jake was going to have some sort of payoff card, some sort of threat, maybe a Chandra, some sort of something that he wanted to keep intact, and he wanted to hold back his defenses.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
And so that was just like a heads-up play by Doug there.
Yep. And so Jake's going to take 6 here, go to 6, and...
Probably going to Game 3 soon.
Probably going to Game 3 here.
Yeah, I don't see much going on here. Attune...
Jake's going to attune.
For nothing, really?
I mean, he could have a Hydra. But it's not very good.
It just gets outclassed by Doug's Hydra, right?
It's not just that. Doug just plays his other Glorybringer, kills his token, and then gets in there for 6.
Oh yeah, Glorybringer's non-dragon, right?
Yep.
Such an awkward clause. It's really awkward.
It is very awkward. So he's gonna play Servant here and hold up Harness Lightning for a second Glorybringer.
Alright.
But if Doug draws that untapped land, he can play that Glorybringer and negate it.
And then that should just be game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's fine. Yeah, we're playing. You know what? It's okay. We got Game 3. Jake does have the blue shell on his shirt, so he should be able to get take down first place.
Is that what that is?
Huh?
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Do you not play Mario Kart?
I mean, I did. I'll be honest with you. I preferred Mario Party over Mario Kart. I know that's heresy.
I mean, that's fine. That's like your opinion. I
don't know how many people are in agreement with me that they enjoyed Mario Party more than Mario Kart. I'm just not a huge fan of racing games.
What Mario Party?
The first 3.
So Mario Party 2?
I really enjoyed Mario Party 2, yes.
Same.
In fact, my brother and I broke out our Nintendo 64 and started playing that and Star Fox 64. And I don't know if you remember, there was a game called Extreme G. It was like a racing motorcycle game.
No.
Yeah.
What's that one like Bad Fur Day?
Conker's Bad Fur Day?
Yeah, my friend got that game.
Yeah, that card is very dirty.
You mean that game, that card?
Everything about that game.
That game's fun.
And so Doug's obviously smelling a removal spell here.
Yeah.
And
like
he's just going to hold up that negate.
Like...
And he's going to force Jake to try to progress his board, and then he's not going to be able to progress his board and hold up a removal spell for the next turn.
I really like these lines of play Doug is doing.
I do too. Jake doesn't have enough mana to try to pretend like he doesn't have a removal spell. He has to progress his board in a way that signifies that he has a removal spell.
Yep.
And Jake's going to, scoop him up right here.
Yep.
So we're off to Game 3.
And I think it all came down to that can Jake kept.
Yeah, it did. Like I said, it slowed him down. It forced him into a situation where he had to draw his lands.
Yes.
Like he had to draw multiple lands. As to where if he'd kept a hand with like 2 lands in a tune or 3 lands,
great hand.
He's at least able to play his spells instead of taking off turns. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we said before, since he was on the draw, like he had like several hits that let him really start doing his thing.
He does have several hits, but if you're playing the percentages, he has 1 land in his hand. He's down to 21 lands. He's at 53 cards in his deck.
Less than 50.
He's at less than 50%.
Even then, like, if he draws Spider Bluff or Island, Dunzo.
Yeah, I won't say Dunzo because he does play the game trail tapped, and then he plays a Spire Bluff, and then he plays his Conduit on turn 2. So then he is a little bit in this game to where he is playing his spells on time because then he's going to play his Rogue Refiner an attune into the Rogue Refiner, things of that nature.
All right.
So you can see where like the sequencing of that, where like a greedy hand like that, where he plays the tap land, then he has to attune, and he's not able to do anything to progress his board state. It really comes down to like the sequencing there.
Yeah.
As we can see, neither of these gentlemen are sideboarding. So
it seems like Jake is.
Okay, so Jake is sideboarding, which means he's probably bringing in some number of Long Tusk Cubs back into on the play. And Doug's not sideboarding in, and we did see Long Tusk Cub there at the end. So he is leaving in his Long Tusk Cubs.
All right.
So I'm curious to see as to what he did board out. or bring in. Maybe he just doesn't have a ton of cards for the mirror.
That may be a case.
But there's a lot of cards in your board that
Can come in.
Yeah, that can come in the mirror.
Totally. It's like the good examples like the Black-Green X mirror in Modern. Basically, you really don't have cards in your sideboard for the mirror. It's like a lot of your cards can come in.
Yeah, like Fulminator Mage.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Stuff that takes out man lands that are much better than like your hand
discard.
Your hand hate spells. So
yeah. I think the most confused I've ever been in Modern, I was playing a PPTQ, and I was doing the old BGX mirror, and my opponent scries, and he has this like most confused look in his face, checks his sideboard, and I'm like, all right. Turns out he left one discarded spell in by accident.
Those are only good on turn 1.
Yeah.
So it probably took a good card.
Yeah.
So Jake here, keeping a hand with a little bit more lands.
Yeah, I think he learned his lesson.
He did.
He doesn't want to get burned.
And he's going to play a Servant of the Conduit on turn 2.
Yep.
Best turn 2 play in the mirror.
And let's see if we see a similar play by Doug here.
Looks like Doug kept a 2-land hand.
Servant.
Oh,
Long Tusk Cub.
Long Tusk Cub.
Mirror Breaker.
So Jake kept another land-light hand. Kept 2 lands. Doug, I think, kept 2 lands and an Attune with Aether.
All right.
And 3 lands and a Rogue Refiner.
Ooh,
Rogue
Refiner.
3 energy here. And Jake is probably going to play a Chandra here.
So, yeah, it seems like killing the Rogue Refiner was a good idea here.
Yeah, he's got 2 Sky Sovereigns in his hand.
That seems good.
Those are good. I don't think he has much in the way of crewing it, though, is the problem. He has a Confiscation Coup, double Sky Sovereign, and a Glory Breaker.
And that Glory Bringer is going to go places.
It is.
I kind of like Plus and Chandra here for mana to cast the Glory Bringer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where Doug's going to make a Thopter here, and I'm assuming he's not going to block here. He's just going to take 6, and he's going to swing at that Chandra.
Maybe draw and 5th land, animate.
And if Doug's clued in here, if he draws an untapped land or something of that nature, he wants to animate that Lumbering Falls and kill that Chandra.
Yeah, I was about to say that too.
That is one of Jake's mana sources. Unfortunately, he does not. He has an Attune.
All right.
Which is fine.
Because at least this turn, Doug's able to hold up the gate for a Sky Sovereign that maybe come down.
Yeah, absolutely. And he does have a Harness Lightning in his hand.
All right. And so he can
will
hold
kill
up
that Glorybringer.
Yeah, he can represent both right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if I'm Doug, I'm thinking, what does Jake have in his hand?
All right. Me personally, I'd be thinking a lot of things. I was like, probably a lot of cards that win the game.
Yeah, I mean, he declined to play anything when he did have 3 mana other than a removal spell on Jake's Long Tusk Cub. Then he did play the Chandra. He has 3 cards in his hand. I'm thinking, what heavy hitters am I worried about here?
Yeah, like, you have to assume it's like mostly heavy hitters at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like this.
I actually think he's going to play Bristling Hydra, which I do like right here.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I do like this because it presents a threat that Jake's not going to be able to kill. And then Doug is going to untap, and he's going to have his negate as well as his removal spell.
All right.
So what this presents to Jake is an issue that if he plays his Sky Sovereign, he's going to kill this token. And perfectly fine with a Doug. And it forces Jake to have to kind of jump block this Bristling Hydra. Otherwise, Doug is killing his Chandra, which is his mana source.
I mean, Doug could activate Lumbering Falls and just take care of the Chandra.
He could. The problem with that is Jake is then able to untap, and 2 swings from that Sky Sovereign, and he's dead.
Okay.
So he's got to think, what are my, he has to deal with what's on board, and then he has to worry about what's in Jake's hand.
All right.
He does know that Jake is light on mana. And he does know that he probably has some number of cards in his hand that, are probably heavy hitters, like Sky Sovereign or another Glorybringer, or the Confiscation Coup that we know about.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, and Jake's gonna oblige with a chump block.
And then I feel like Doug might display his Chandra or just hold up negate.
I think what he should do is he should kill this Glorybringer with an Harness Lightning right now. And the reason that is because in response Jake can untap and crew that Sky Sovereign.
All right. Or he could be playing this Rogue Refiner?
Yeah, that's fine. He can play the Rogue Refiner to hope to draw land and then
so you get more options.
Yeah, and still he wants to kill that Glorybringer.
So go up.
It looks like he brought in his Dispel as well.
I don't know if I would go that deep.
It's a little bit. The negates are fine. The Dispel is, I guess, for other removal spells. I don't like that per se. And now Doug is going to negate that.
All right. Which I think Jake is actually okay with.
I think he's okay with that. Again, the Sky Sovereign is still an issue.
All right.
Oh, okay. So Jake is actually going to take this hit. He's not going to crew the Sky Sovereign. I actually like crewing the Sky Sovereign here and swinging and killing that Rogue Refiner, because that puts Doug on a 2-turn clock as opposed to now Doug is currently on a 2-turn clock. Your Chandra's going to die.
Yes.
So, and Doug has a grip full of cards here.
And
he's ahead on lands. So your best bet here right now is to get aggressive with your Sky Sovereign and put him on a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, and just hope Doug doesn't have removal spell for the Sky Sovereign or Glorybringer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which we know he does.
Yeah.
But Jake was
the way Doug sculpted his turn actually made this a little bit harder for Jake.
Yeah.
So now he's going to be able to minus on that Glorybringer.
Yep.
He's going to swing, kill the Chandra, and then deal Jake 4.
Yeah, and Jake needs to lay off Red Bull, I would say.
So what this does,
all right,
is this presents an opportunity where Jake is able to untap and play a threat, say were to be a Rogue Refiner or something like that. And he's going to be able to swing with that Sky Sovereign and kill his Rogue Refiner or his Chandra. And then Doug goes to 2, and then Doug is left trying to deal with these threats.
All right.
He does have a Harness Lightning in his hand, which will kill the Sky Sovereign. Little does he know that Jake has a backup Sky Sovereign in his hand.
All right. Totally. 10 out of 10.
Now, what the problem with this line from Jake pumping the Long Tusk up is it leaves him with no energy. Leaves him with a threat that is vulnerable.
Yep. But I think Jake just kind of has to, go for it.
He does have to go for it is the problem. As being land light like this has made it so that has
to be very aggressive and make these risky plays. So I think since Jake already committed to this whole plan, he should just go ahead and crew.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of, in Jake's mind, what does he die to from Doug?
Removal spell.
Which he does have, but I don't think that's the actual issue. Doug would have to keep up his removal spell for the Sky Sovereign for fear of just dying to it.
All right.
I think what Jake is thinking of is what number of creatures do I die to right now from Doug? Because he is currently taking either he's taking damage from the Chandra and but he is taking damage from the Bristling Hydra.
All right. I can totally see that.
So, I think either way you kill the Chandra. If you're Jake, you still have to be aggressive. Put Doug down to 2.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of. Wait, no. Yeah. Doug does have some creatures in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I was thinking about a scenario. Maybe Jake just kills off the creature. So like, in case. I don't know.
So let's see. He can put 3 counters on the Hydra. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. This puts him dead to a Glorybringer, is what maybe Jake was thinking. But I think if you're in Jake's position, you just had to get aggressive right there.
100% agreed.
And if you're Doug, you're in a fantastic position right here.
Oh, yeah.
I think what you need to do is you need to play one of your threats, get in there, and then wait and hold back for Jake. You still have your removal spell, and you have a dispel if he were to, say, have a negate.
Yeah.
Wait until he moves to combat, and then you just get in there. I don't like not getting in with that Rogue Refiner. I think you put Jake on that 2-turn clock.
I mean, I can understand that. Why? In case, like...
What are you worried about, though? Legitimately. A 5th land Glorybringer, maybe?
Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. And even then, if say you have... You're probably not beating that anyways.
True. Yeah, pretty much 5th land Glorybringer is only Jake's out.
But as it stands right now, Jake is not... Okay, so... Doug is going to Harness Lightning this Sky Sovereign.
Alright, do you have anything, Jake? Alright. I don't think he does.
I didn't see what Jake drew for turn.
I think it was a... I don't know. Irrelevant card?
Oh, he drew a Bristling Hydra.
Yep.
Okay. So...
I think we're just really on that whole plan of 5th land Glorybringer still for Jake here, even though he doesn't have either of those in hand.
Yeah. I think that's where we're kind of at. And he's going to target this Cub with the Harness Lightning. And if I'm Doug, I've got this Dispel in my hand. I think I'm going to Dispel this. And if he had gotten in with that Rogue Refiner last turn, Jake would be dead.
Yeah. Now, like, Doug can just, like, animate his Lumbering Falls? No, that's too aggressive, I feel like.
Well, hold on. If he animates his Lumbering Falls, yeah, then Jake is dead. So if he had animated his Lumbering Falls, Jake would be dead. Jake would have to block the Bristling Hydra. He would take 8. He just pumps that Cub twice, and then Jake... and then he wins the game.
Yeah, it seems like this is the game, Doug's game to win.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and I think he's played it a little bit less aggressively than he should be. Once your opponent is land screwed like that...
Like, you're just trying to end the game so they can't get back in.
Absolutely. And I know you're at 2, but you have to force Jake to block that Servant of the Conduit so that you don't die to Glorybringer. Jake has to have 5th land Glorybringer here to lose. Or to win, excuse me.
Yeah.
So he's just swinging that Long Tusk Cub.
I don't like that.
No, I don't either. See, Jake can pump that up to a 5/5, but you really need to force him to block.
I mean, now... Yeah, so I feel like now Jake can just go Sky Sovereign?
So he also missed the trigger from gaining 2 energy from that Long Tusk Cub. He should be at...
Yep.
Should be at 5 energy, I believe.
Yeah, that happens.
But that is a trigger he can miss. And so Jake plays his own Hydra. if you're Doug, you're thinking, all right, what can I lose to right here? I think he has a removal spell in his hand.
Yeah, I think that's a Chandra's defeat for the Glory Bringer.
I think, yeah, you animate your Lumbering Falls, and you do this turn what you could have done last turn, and
kill Jake.
Yeah, Jake doesn't have enough blockers. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
And Doug gets the game.
All right, and we'll be back here shortly for round 4.
Yep. Stay tuned.
All right, see you guys soon.